Hey guys, how are you today? I hope that you are having a good week. I am doing pretty well. Not quite as good as I could be doing. I don't know, can you tell why maybe I wouldn't be doing as great as normal? Yeah, I have an owie on my finger and I'm wearing a Band-Aid. That's one way that you can probably tell that it hurts, because you can see that I have an owie. Have you guys had any owies this week? Any of you gotten hurt anywhere? Anybody wearing any Band-Aids? Last Sunday I saw a little boy, he had a cast from his ankle all the way up to his hips. I think that he had an owie. And I saw another girl who had scabs on her knees. I think she had some owies too. It's easy to tell sometimes when people have owies and they're hurt. Are there times that it's hard to tell when somebody is hurt? Maybe sometimes when people are hurt inside? Well, we moved to Sioux Falls the summer before my son Patrick went into 2nd grade. And he was so excited to start school so that he could meet some new friends, because there weren't any boys that lived in our neighborhood. And the first day he came home from school and everything seemed fine until I went to go and tuck him into bed that night. And when I leaned over and talked to him about his day, all of a sudden there was this tear that started trickling down his cheek. And I could tell that something was wrong and that he was hurting inside. And it turns out that he had had a pretty good day at school, but when it came to recess time, all the kids were so excited to see all their old friends that they forgot about Patrick. And he had even gone to ask some kids if he could play soccer with them, and they told him no. And it made him sad, and it made him feel rejected. And that doesn't feel very good. Have you ever felt rejected before? I bet most of us probably have. Even sometimes some famous people have been rejected. Have any of you guys ever heard of Michael Jordan? He's like a really famous basketball player, but when he was a kid, his coach told him that he wasn't any good, and he rejected him from the team. He said, no way. And he turned out to be one of the best basketball players ever. And did you know that once upon a time, Jesus was even rejected when he lived here on earth? Yeah. People didn't want him around telling his stories to them. So he experienced what it was like to be rejected. Our world friends today are learning all sorts of things about rejection. Let's watch to see what they're up to today.
Well, that was the weirdest Sunday school ever.
I know. Why would all those people want to get rid of Jesus?
I was talking about the snacks.
It's hard to believe that anyone would reject someone as amazing as Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, who puts radishes in yogurt?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Hey, that reminds me. Has anyone met the new kid?
Who's this? You're talking about Bert.
Oh, yeah, he's a total bully.
Bert the bully. Oh, that's cute.
Cute is not the word I'd use to describe him. He's huge.
He's like 6 feet tall.
And he already has to shave. Whoa, really? And he's got all these scars.
And an eye patch.
And a kitten named Herman.
You know what I heard? I heard he breaks into other people's lockers at school.
I heard that he kicked over Mr. Cooper's trash cans.
I heard he collects knives.
I heard he sends inappropriate text messages.
I heard that the house he lives in is haunted and that even the ghosts are scared of him.
I heard that he makes flower arrangements.
Where did you hear that?
I don't know.
Where did you guys hear any of this?
Only from everyone.
Yeah, it's all over school.
Guys?
Have any of you even met Bert?
No.
Guys?
Then how do you even know if it's true?
Look, I'm telling you, this Bert guy is a total menace.
Guys?
Bert.
Oh. Hey guys, why did you want to meet in the church cemetery?
Because we can't be seen with you anymore.
What? Why?
Because you've been hanging out with Bert.
So?
So, it's Bert.
We're never gonna hear the end of it at school.
Who cares what they think? I like Bert. He's a good guy.
Wait, you aren't gonna start bringing him to church, are you?
Why wouldn't I?
Church is supposed to be a safe, welcoming place. I don't want Bert waltzing in there and scaring my grandma.
Can you even hear yourselves right now?
Look, Leo, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to socially distance ourselves from you for the time being. You know, until this whole thing blows over.
If it ever does.
Radishes and yogurt.
Oh my goodness! What happened when Ruby, Gabe, and Mimi started talking about Bert? They hadn't even met him yet. Pretty soon he became 6 foot tall, and he was growing a beard, and he was stealing things out of people's lockers. They made him into something that was very mean and probably very untrue. What do you think that they were afraid about? Do you think that they were afraid to get to know him? Do you think that they were afraid that he was going to steal some of their friends away from them? Or do you think that he was just really going to be a bully to them? I don't know. How do you think that it felt for Bert to hear that people were talking about him like that? I bet that that made him very, very sad. Can you think of a time, though, when you were surprised about how nice somebody was after you got to know them? Sometimes maybe we have some ideas about how somebody is, but when we really get to meet that person, we get to know them, we find out that they're actually really quite different and quite nice from what maybe other people are saying, and that maybe we shouldn't just reject them without getting to know them first. It was kind of hard for the kids at the very end, especially for Leo. When Leo had become friends with Bert and the other kids left Leo, that wasn't very nice either. It was kind of sad that they didn't give Bert and Leo a chance. Well, let's read our Bible story today. It's from Matthew chapter 21, verses 33 through 46. It's called The Parable of the Wicked Tenants. It's not a very easy Bible story to listen to. Listen to another parable. There was a landowner who planted a vineyard, put a fence around it, dug a winepress in it, and built a watchtower. Then he leased it to tenants and went to another country. When the harvest time came, he sent his slaves to the tenants to collect his produce. But the tenants seized his slaves and beat one, killed the other, and stoned another. Again, he sent other slaves, more than the first, and they treated them in the same way. Finally, he sent his son to them, saying, "They will respect my son." But when the tenants saw the son, they said to themselves, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him and get his inheritance." So they seized him, threw him out of the vineyard, and killed him. Now when the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to these tenants? They said to him, "He will put those wretches to a miserable death and lease the vineyard to other tenants who will give him the produce at the harvest." Jesus said to them, "Have you never read in the scriptures, the stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone? This was the Lord's doing, and it is amazing in our eyes. Therefore, I tell you, the kingdom of God will be taken away from them and given to people that produces the fruits of the kingdom. The one who falls on this stone will be broken to pieces, and it will crush anyone on whom it falls." When the chief priests and the Pharisees heard this parable, they realized that he was speaking about them. They wanted to arrest him, but they feared the crowds because they regarded him as a prophet. This story is really hard to hear, but it's not too very hard to understand, is it? Jesus knew that the people were planning to kill him. He knew that ahead of time. So he told them a story about people rejecting someone else. And then in the end, the chiefs and the Pharisees understood who Jesus was talking about and understood the story better. And it says that they even began to fear him. The tenants rejected the workers rejected the workers by hurting their bodies. What are some other ways that we hurt people? We don't always necessarily hurt other people's bodies, but we most certainly hurt people in other ways. Sometimes we talk about them behind their back. Sometimes it's other words that we say to them that are really mean. Sometimes we don't include people. There are lots of ways that we hurt other people. On your leaflets today, there are some pictures of some very famous people. And I hope that you and your families can spend a little bit of time researching these people: Martin Luther King Jr., Clara Barton, and Dr. Seuss. Each of these very famous people experienced rejection in their time. Each of them a little bit differently, but all of them rose to the occasion and became quite well known in the world and successful in what they did. So I hope that you have time together as a family and that you enjoy that time together as a family. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks so much. Bye.